This is the JFJ Conspiracy, where the shop talk is rock.
I'm Jim.
And I'm Frank.
And I'm Jerry.
And this is the JFJ Conspiracy Podcast, where the shop talk is rock. Gentlemen, how you doing?
I'm doing wonderful.
Good?
Fantastic. For a Monday, it's great.
Very good. I got a message the other day saying this is an awesome month because we're actually getting 3 podcasts in a row because we had a couple weeks ago our April Fool's podcast, and then we had Record Store Day, a special edition. I want to thank those tens of people that watched it, listened to it. And now we're doing our regular podcast where we're going to talk about Record Store Day a little bit.
On tax day.
Well, I didn't even want to mention that. Yeah.
Why not, Frank? Our debut was on Halloween. Why not?
It is tax day. And I paid my taxes so far long ago that I didn't even pay attention to this being April 15th.
Yeah, same here.
So,
That's a good way to be. Same here.
oh, yeah. So we're going to be talking about the epic album from The Clash, Combat Rock, and that is the listener's choice. We had a vote, and the listeners decided that was the album that got the most votes for us to review. So we'll talk about that a little bit, too.
Are you sure?
You know, I went over the tallied the votes several times, and the good people down at the firm who were holding on to the votes for us, we had them double-check it. It was in their possession at all times, so there was no...
Hygienically sealed, yeah.
Yes,
Yep.
It was absolutely sealed, and that was the album of choice. We will do this again, but it's going to be a while because I think we all like to pick our albums and review them.
Mm-hmm. Just out of curiosity, is Steve Harvey the one that announced the winner? Is it maybe? Maybe we got that wrong.
Could be.
Perfect,
Could be.
Jim.
I missed the broadcast, but
Wait a minute. I read the wrong envelope.
yeah. Yikes. Okay, so last Saturday was Record Store Day, and true to my word, I went out, and Cindy and I went down to Upland and went to Penny Lane Records. Got a free button from Penny Lane Records. See there? This is the size. Just to show you, this is the button they give you for free as opposed to the size that Music Plus used to give you, you know.
Yeah.
Things have changed.
Wow, Frank. Wow.
Yeah. So, anyways, I did pick up an album, and we had talked about this album, and I'm going to present it here to you guys because I think you'll both be interested to see it and see if I can get it up there, and you guys can check it out. And here's the reveal.
Oh, man.
Oh, Jim. What
He
say
did it.
you?
He did it.
Yep.
He did it.
So now,
Nice.
yeah, Sherry Curry, Boulevards of Splendor, has not been opened, and it's the red splattered translucent vinyl. And I haven't opened this because what I told Cindy what I would do is offer this to Jim first. If you want to buy this album, cost me $19. It's yours.
It'll cost Jim about
I'm
60.
in.
You're in. Okay, well, I will put this aside. I won't play it, and you'll get a sealed album.
Wow, Frank. Wow.
Yeah. And one of the people at the counter back there was a little bit upset because she was actually hoping no one would buy it so she could buy it. So
they had
it
one
felt-
copy, right?
Yes.
She should have hit it.
And that's,
on her. She should have hit that behind Combat Rock. Nobody would have. Oh, never mind. I'm sorry, guys.
But we should say all the record stores order. Sometimes they order everything. Sometimes they pick and choose, but there's no guarantee that they're going to get what they order.
Right.
No.
They don't know
Oh,
until
really?
they open up the box. Yeah.
Right. Now,
They
how
have
many?
no idea.
Do you remember how many copies of this album was made?
1,500?
Something like. Okay, so you'll still be able to find it out there, but I've got the first run of it for you. That's better than
Beautiful.
shopping on eBay and
Well
everything
done.
else. I
Well
wanted the Bob
done.
Dylan, like I told you guys, and they didn't have it, and so got home and checked online right away. It was going for $60 to $75 and up for, an album. So it's sad. I was just talking to somebody. People do go to the record store day just to buy these albums up, just to make a profit online.
Yeah.
It's sad because
Yes, it is.
There's people who just want to buy an album to have it. They're not trying to make money. They're not trying to resell or anything else. and they end up having to pay absorbent amounts of dollars for a record because some shark took it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So,
Which is
wrong.
part of my gripe with Record Store Day.
it is, and every day should be Record Store Day.
Every day should be Record Store.
Yeah. But anyways, I understand you have an album, a record, or is it
Not
a
an
single?
album. So last week, we had Everything by the Dolly Rots.
Oh yeah.
And I said, as soon as the podcast is over, I'm going to order it. And
Aha! Very nice.
this Dolly arrived in the mail today.
Cool.
And I'm gonna bust this open.
All right.
Dreaded thumbnail here, maybe.
While Jim's doing that, I want to say
the paper cut.
they
No,
did
No,
have
too late.
they did have Weezer's album from November's Record Store Day over there at Penny Lane.
Still sitting around.
Still
Really?
sitting around. So
Really?
these things
Yeah,
are
sure.
available. Yeah.
So let's just
I wish
take
we had
a look.
smell-o-vision so I could smell that vinyl.
Oh, nothing better.
That's the best part.
That's like I don't know if you can see that. It's kind of a
Oh,
blue,
well done.
There you go. It's got
blue
like
vinyl with like a orangey splatter through it.
very cool.
Beautiful here. Let's
Awesome.
get the label right.
Labels, nice.
Awesome.
So there are plenty of places to get records.
Yes.
You don't have to wait for Record Store Day.
Nope.
And I love supporting a band like the Dolly Rots because they don't have a label behind them. They're self-funded. They're fan-funded. Kelly probably hand-packed that and sent it out. She sent me a little sticker.
Cool.
It's a little note from her. Love
Very
you,
nice.
Kelly. So
Right on.
shout out to the Dolly Rots.
Dolly Rots.
Very nice.
And something that will stay in my collection forever.
There you go.
Well done.
And Jerry, did you get out this weekend, or did you have other
no, I
plans?
didn't. We're still my wife still has me painting. We're modeling. I haven't had a weekend off since I can remember.
Honey-do.
But yeah, exactly. But a couple weeks before that, I did pick up a vinyl record, but I already ran it past Jim and Frank folks out in Conspiracy Land.
Right.
I can't show it. It was one of those K-Tel records from the day, the disco.
All right, the disco era.
When I saw it, I got it. It's just anyway.
All right. Was it in good shape?
Well, pretty decent. You
Yeah.
can play it and hear it. It's the cardboard's beat up, but it's just
$1.99.
it was about $6, I think. $6 and
$6?
change. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
pretty good. Got real lucky with it, and I played it, and it sounds like an old record.
Sounds
play it.
disco-y.
Yeah, it sounds disco-y. Yeah, but it's wonderful. So vinyl. Yeah, vinyl.
Now, I was reading an article this weekend about the 180 gram records. And some people were talking about how their record players, older record players, skip and won't play the 180 gram.
Too heavy?
The record doesn't bend and give, and they need to do a proper weight onto their stylus. And so a lot of people feel the 180 gram records are junk, and they don't understand that older stereos are not made for that type of vinyl.
Yeah.
And if you look at the
Upgrade.
older records, they have a lot of give, and
Oh yeah.
there's a wave to them almost.
You could bend those quite a ways. Yes.
Yeah. So it's something to think about when you're buying if you're going to go buy a brand new, they even have a 200 gram now. And
Now-
Yeah, and I think there's is it 160? 165?
160.
Now,
Yeah.
guys, can I ask you? You guys are why do you go heavier?
I think it's more,
Honestly,
personally, I think it's more so the album will last longer, number one. And I don't think it has anything to do with sound quality or the grooves or anything like that, because
yeah.
I've read articles that say, oh, yeah, well, they can cut the grooves deeper and everything. I don't buy that. I think it's more of the album's going to last longer. You're going to get more plays out of it. It's less scratch resistant and everything
Okay.
else. So, but
Built to last, baby.
yep.
All right.
Yeah.
The heavier, the better. The
That's,
heavier, the better.
that's what I
There you
keep telling
go.
my wife, every time we go get some ice cream or something. So,
Heavier
Just
the
do-
better.
heavier the
Just
better.
tell Miss Cindy you're trying to improve yourself. Huh?
That's right.
There you go.
Hey, I've earned this gut.
I
There
love
you
it.
go.
I can't wait to use that.
Hey, good luck.
Good luck. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
See how it works out. Let
I
me
didn't
know.
say it goes over well. I'm just
I'll
saying.
need
That's
it.
Oh,
All right. Well, moving on this week, we've got a couple songs to present to you. And I'll tell you what, I'll go first, if you don't mind.
No, by all means.
Not at all.
The music I
help
have
yourself,
comes
sir.
from...
You're the moderator. Do what you want.
Exactly.
No. I'm just 1/3 of the show, guys. Come on.
No, but it's just back in the same thing in the old days, Jim. Right?
Here we go.
Frank's the moderator. Frank's the hey, back up, fella. Hey, you over there, your turn. Hang on. So
I'll let you guys up to the grown-up table. I don't care.
I don't want to go.
As far as I'm concerned, he's earned the right.
Absolutely.
Well, the music I have comes from Minneapolis, Minnesota. And once again, I'm going to butcher a man's name, but it's Bryce, Kallal. How would you pronounce that?
Wow.
Kallal?
Yep.
Kallal?
Kallal? I don't know. And Bryce, I apologize directly to you for not knowing and not asking in advance the exact pronunciation of your name. But anyways, this song this album actually was released in March of 2019 of this year. And he's a one-man band, basically. He does all the stuff. He does have some help mastering and mixing by his friend Wally Joseph. They do that, but Bryce does the instruments. It's just good stuff all the way through. He does the album. I actually bought the whole thing. He's got a large variety of different songs, take you on just a journey, basically. And the song I was going to play for you was actually Somewhere in Dream World, which was a song he wrote about depression, suicide, after the Chad Pennington situation and everything. It really touched him, so he wrote this song about it. And I was going to play it for us, but it starts off with a slow interlude till the song takes off. And I didn't want to waste the time on an interlude. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but like I told Bryce,
we're limited on what we play. So.
Yeah, we just want to give the fans a taste. So he got back to me and said, "Hey, how about this tune here that I'm going to play for you?" And I'll talk about it after I get it up here and play, and after we listen to it. And as soon as I can find it, we will get it going. I'm having technical issues tonight with the computer, which rarely happens on my end. But here...
It's tax day.
It's tax day. I'm feeling taxed.
There you go.
Well done, Frank.
But we'll talk about this song in just a second.
Turning gray, although she lets you hold her tight. She'll lead you to the fray and make your whole world go astray. And you will pay, okay? I bet you'll get her way. I bet you'll run away. Just the thought she got to stay. I say no way, okay? Watch out for the betray. You better run away. You better run away. Yeah. She's a heartache collector. She won't let nobody get her. She's a love taker, heartbreaker. Can't escape her, God forsake her. Never gonna ever let you go. Everybody knows she can make you high, make you plummet from the sky this time. And even when she goes, she will still supply a way to make your world awry inside your mind. But why? She'll look you in the eye, she'll feed you with the lie, and then she'll leave you hanging dry and you comply. But why? You know it's do or die. You better say goodbye. You better say goodbye. Yeah. She's a heartache collector. She won't let nobody get her. She's a love taker, heartbreaker. Can't escape her, God forsake her. Never gonna ever let you go.
All right. And I should have said before we started, that is called Heartache Collector. And that's just one of the faster paced songs that's on his album.
That bass line. I love that.
Isn't that nice? Yeah.
Yes.
The album's called Somewhere in Dream World. Just good stuff. Just the moniker he goes under is called Midnight Notion, and his own way of describing himself is fueled by dreams and undeniably passionate imagination. Midnight Notion is a hard-hitting, head-banging, genre-bending riff rock, and it's from the Minnesota's Twin Cities, and possibly the loudest one-man band around.
Awesome. Riff rock.
Riff rock. You know I love that stuff.
Riffy. Did any mention of who his kind of influences are?
He didn't mention any, and Bryce, if you listen to this, write us back, and we definitely will put it in the credits down below on our show. It's hard to say.
Intro was very very crewish.
Yeah.
To me.
I got that. Yeah, I got that vibe. Yep.
Well, he told me that he likes to play the song live and get the audience, engaged. It's a sing along type thing. You can tell it's a headbanging kind of song. So
yeah,
I can feel there's lots of good 80s and 90s influence in there.
But some pop sensibility in there. I like it.
Yeah, very clean recording too.
Yes.
Yep.
And I'll tell you that from my standpoint, when I hear somebody like this have music this clean, I want to sell all my gear, because
wow.
Yeah,
it's just something to shoot for.
I know it. I know it, but it's amazing. I've been doing this for how many years, and these artists that are coming out now, it's just sounding so good, so clean and crisp. It's amazing. Really enjoyed that, Bryce. Really appreciate the.
Yes, thank you, Bryce. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So, anyways, that is again Midnight Notion, and the song was Heartache Collector. And check out the album Somewhere in Dream World, available on Bandcamp, and also he's got CDs available that they were replicated from Oasis Disc Manufacturing, who I've used in the past. Great company to use. Great company. So, anyways, check it out, guys. Check it out. So, Jim, moving forward, what do you have for us?
A band that does not have a female lead vocalist.
What?
And
Wait a minute.
so
Is this thing on?
What?
The last podcast, I said I'm going to go back and tally it up.
Oh, yeah. What do you got for us?
Yeah,
So-
what you got?
Tonight will be the 12th time that I have presented a band.
Yes.
What do you think the score would be?
I think it's 9-3.
I'm gonna go. Oh no. Well, I'm close. I'll go 10. And are we on 14 now or 13?
14.
And do we include record day?
Well, so 12. So this will be the 12th time we've had a band. So 12
I'll go
bands.
10 easy with girl singers. Easy.
10-2.
10 easy.
Easy.
And Frank, yours was what?
9-3.
9-3. 9-3 to what? So nine girls,
9
3
female singers, 3 male singers.
You guys are not even in the ballpark,
Oh,
man.
come on.
Don't tell. Okay, you have at least 8 female singers.
It's eight bands with male singers and 4 bands with female singers.
Recount.
Yeah.
No,
Same people that counted Clash, I think, are counting your bands.
Look, I'm trying to think if I can name them off the top of my head. So,
Cliches
Dolly
are not
Rots,
cliche.
Female.
Dolly Rots,
Mhm.
Susie Quattro,
Female.
the Bralettes,
Female.
and the Beths.
Female.
Every other band has had a male singer.
That can't be right.
I think you guys have probably had more bands with female singers. I think Jerry has.
Oh boy, if I go through my notes.
I think Jerry's first 1 or 2 were female singers. That was it.
Yes, they were.
Yeah.
And what was the last band you had, Jerry? Was it the Mange?
No, Green Gasoline, I think.
Oh, Green Gasoline.
Gasoline
That's
did
right.
not. Yeah, but the Mange was female. Yeah, there's 3.
Right.
Yes, they were.
And I look at my first one, Anna Schultz. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I would almost venture to say that Frank maybe has more female
Oh,
singers.
I don't think I have any, do I? I don't think I've.
Oh, Lord,
I'm unsure.
throw my notes on here, but Frank,
I've-
if Jim's right,
Yeah,
it'll be just like high school again.
always right. Yep.
Yeah, and we'll have to eat some crow, and then it'll be the weekend, and then we'll come back Monday and start over,
Yeah.
like we did in high school. Yeah.
There we go.
My
So
My gosh.
I didn't have enough time to count you guys up, but so
I'll go through my notes.
age
Yeah.
of 4 double. I've got double male singers to female singers. So
I have to double check that
Well, yeah, triple check that.
because
Help
I don't
yourselves.
think I have any, to be honest with you. Not that it matters. Again, it doesn't
No,
matter.
it doesn't at all. Oh, good music is good music. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter who's singing.
good
it.
music
Yeah.
is good music, and I'm
Yeah.
really excited about this week's band. They are called the Cheap Cassettes,
Cheap cassettes.
not
Cheap
to be
Cassettes.
confused with the Cassettes, who
Right.
I had on here before.
Cassettes
So
were great.
the
Wow.
Cassettes were great, and I think you're really going to like this band. Charles Matthews on guitar and vocals. And here's the first time I'm a little stumped on the pronunciation of a name. So it's
Spreading.
Mike Isberg, spelled Isberg.
Okay.
I was kind of hoping the pronunciation was iceberg because I thought that would be a little
Yeah.
cooler, even though it's not literally spelled ICE. But so Mike plays bass, and Kevin Parkhurst is the drummer. They used to be a 4-piece. They're down to a 3-piece now. I get the feeling that I didn't get a chance to go back and look, but both of the songs on the new 7-inch were written by Charles Matthews, also goes by Chaz. So I
Okay.
get the feeling he's kind of the main principal songwriter. But I was going through and looking at their influences, right? So
Uh-huh.
see if you can tell why I love this
Uh-oh.
band.
Here we go, Frank.
So and
Susie
they
Quattro.
he's listed several times. So it says rootsy American power pop with big guitars and big hooks for fans of Buddy Holly, Big Star, The Replacements, and my number one band, Material Issue.
Ah.
Then he goes on to list the Buzzcocks, Buddy Holly,
Buzzcocks,
the Jam, the Kinks, the Everly Brothers, the Beatles, Elvis Costello, the Figs, Tommy Keene, another great singer-songwriter,
God
the
bless.
Records, the Boys, the Action, the Creation, couple of the Records, couple of mod revival bands, the Vapors, Ramones, the Purple Hearts, the Chords, Johnny Thunders.
Now,
all bands that I
Híjole.
absolutely love. And so I wouldn't say they particularly sound a lot
No.
like any of those bands, but
I was going to say,
influence.
Yep.
just because you're influenced doesn't mean you have to
doesn't mean you
replicate.
sound exactly
No,
like
don't
them.
copy 'em.
However,
Right.
I got to say,
Yeah.
probably why I like them so much. So the song we're going to hear is Worse and Better. So Frank,
Let's do this. This is the Cheap
Cue us
Cassettes.
up, brother.
With the worse and better.
Stumble down the path less traveled. Skin knees on the shrapnel every time. Who votes for self-help quotes formulated to keep you in line?
the cheap
Woo.
cassettes.
Very
Worse and
good.
better.
Very raw. Awesome.
I absolutely love that little volley of chords right after the chorus.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it just fantastic stuff. I mean, these guys hard hitting, you know.
Yep.
I don't
With some
want
attitude.
to
Coming at you. They're coming at you. Yep.
don't want to throw any disrespect or shade, and it's not intended at all. While listening to that, the vocal line, you know what I'm thinking of? Billy Joel, You May Be Right. You know, just the way that the lyrics kind of flowed in the song. Not the sound of the song, but just the lyrics, the way they went. Go
But
back
you
and
can-
listen.
You can hear that little, almost a little rockabilly vibe in there.
But I like it. Yeah. That
Yeah.
down, 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 down. I
Yeah.
love it.
And
I
if that
love
was
it.
recorded as a 3-piece, as they are now, love the guitar sound, love the way it came out. Just great.
Awesome.
Yeah,
So,
good stuff.
Yep.
Now, did they?
And so that's also available on a 7-inch colored vinyl. I already placed my order. You buy the
Go,
7-inch, you get the album in total when you
Love it.
buy the 7-inch.
Nice.
Is that
You get to
Bandcamp?
download
Is that-
the album.
Is that
Yeah, it's on
Bandcamp also,
Bandcamp.
James?
On Bandcamp.
Thank you. Excuse me.
And so they've got another 7-inch EP out with 4 songs on it. I think I might as well just order that one while I'm at it.
And
'Cause,
again, you think we work for Bandcamp because you can't tout them enough. You go back and you listen to the songs. If you don't like it, you don't have to buy it. You know, they let you listen to the music prior to,
yeah.
and that's how you find out if an album's worth it. Because a lot of times a band will put an album out that has 1 or 2 good songs, The Clash, and then the rest of it is garbage. So
Easy, kid. Easy.
you
We're
don't
getting there.
have to buy it this way. You can just listen, move on.
So while we're at it, I did a little digging around. So Mr. Charles Matthews also has a blog on WordPress. It's called The Black Vinyl Blog, and it's spelled THEE, blackvinylblog.wordpress.com. Writes about records.
Ooh, I like it.
And movies and classic vinyl, and he's a record geek like us.
Yeah, very nice.
And considering all of his influences, he's probably the kind of guy I'd like to go out to dinner with and talk records all night.
Pick his
vinyl.
brain a little
Yep.
bit. That's what's always
Yeah,
neat.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
So check out his blog also. I mean, it's good stuff.
Will do.
Good music and great writing.
All right. We'll definitely check them out.
Yes.
Now, this week, Jerry was busy with his honeydews, and he didn't get a song for us, but that's okay. That's one demerit. That's okay. There's not like it's a point system or anything around here, but it is noted.
Just know that it will go down on your permanent record.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's right next to your haircut record.
Well, hey, don't hate me because I'm beautiful.
Yes, sir.
You know. Hey.
So with that, I think we have a lengthy thing to discuss anyways, and that is Combat Rock by The Clash. And, I don't know. This is a double platinum album. It was number 7 on the U.S. charts.
Yep.
Stayed there for 61 weeks.
Number 4 in the UK.
Yeah.
Yeah.
23 weeks on the charts in the UK. It was the last album from the original lineup before they kicked out
Started changing. Yeah.
Topper and Mick.
Yeah, they fired Mick. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll tell you what, guys. The two
Here we go,
songs
Jim.
that we
Here we
all
go,
know
Jim.
and everybody knows,
Yep.
you know,
And that's what made it double platinum, I bet.
well, Rockin' the Casbah and Should I Stay or Should I Go during that MTV era, 1982. Were they around yet? Was that the MTV
Yeah,
era?
no.
'Cause I remember
MTV was
video.
August-
Oh, yeah,
August-
absolutely.
MTV
Yeah.
was August 81 debut.
Yeah.
August 81.
So
So,
they
they
hit
were,
the
yeah. they were-
prime. Of that
Absolutely.
time.
They played Rock the Casbah incessantly.
Yes.
Yes,
and I'm
they
sure,
did. I got that video in my head.
And I'm sure MTV made or broke bands, and this particular album. Again, and I've read extensive stuff on these guys and this album. People saying that this was the soundtrack to their teenage years. and it's people in England mostly. This was, the iconic album they always wanted from the Clash. It's their favorite album from the Clash and everything else. And like I told you, I made little 1-word, 2-word comments as I listened to each song. And my main thing is, okay, punk is one thing. Punk songs are usually not 4, 5, 6 minutes long.
No.
It's not a punk. It's not a punk record.
No. No, it's a punk band doing a new wave record is the way I took it. And you had some awesome albums come out in '82. Elvis Costello had a good album. Duran Duran had a good album. Culture Club. There was a lot of big music came out in 1982. And
Absolutely.
how this did double platinum, I'll never know.
On the strength of those 2 singles.
Two singles.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Like I said, I don't want to.
Well,
diminish
remember
the
us
music
guys.
because
Sorry to interrupt, Frank, but remember us guys. We'd hear a song or two. Wouldn't we buy the album?
absolutely,
Right?
yeah.
To me, that's it.
Yeah.
Hate to say it.
And
God
you were
bless the
saying
Flash, but
before we started recording, Jerry was saying you guys both liked the production of the album.
yes, very clean. You can hear all the instruments. You can hear, all of Joe Strummer's vocal
Mistakes.
attributes. But it's very clean production. You can. I love my rhythm. I love my lead. I love the great bass line. Great, but yeah. I didn't do what you did, Frank. I put smiley face or unhappy face, and yeah.
Well,
Lot
there's
of
more
unhappy-
unhappy faces than Jim's girl bands.
Oh no, those are always good bands.
No, I'm not
now
saying
Jim's
they were,
picks
but-
are always good.
Yeah.
My unhappy faces on here are there's 2 of them I just wrote. There's 2 of them, Ghetto Defendant and Inoculated City. I wrote next to him, talking too much.
Yeah.
He's talking too much.
Well, see, now, did you guys, again, Jim and I were talking also earlier about, well, are we just not smart enough for this kind of music? The album itself, I had read that it is kind of almost not a concept album, but a lot of the songs were written about how they were rebuilding after the Vietnam War, how things were going for the kids, basically, and the government, and they were becoming together again after the Vietnam War. I didn't catch that in this music.
Well, now to me, was it the Vietnam War, Frank, or was it the IRA stuff in the
No.
late 70s?
From what I read from
This
Vietnam,
is Vietnam stuff. Inspired?
No,
I always thought it was
Straight to
IRA.
Hell.
I would have thought so.
Straight
Yeah.
to Hell is actually about the Vietnam War. It's
Yeah.
actually about GIs
Oh right, Papa
leaving
San, Mama
leaving
San.
kids.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
That's one song. That's
right.
one song.
Papa San, Mama San. Well
Right.
done, Jim. Yeah.
So, again,
That's right.
they went for the reggae feel on a lot of the songs. They had, like you say, the ska going on.
No, you're right. It's very ska. Very, yeah.
And I don't think it's good ska. I mean, it was like punk rockers trying to make a ska record, And I just, guys, I'm sorry. I'll write down the list. Know your rights. I wrote down, okay, it's a good way to start an album. Had a decent start.
Do you know what the 3 rights are you should know? The right not to be killed, the right for food money, and the right for free speech.
Yeah.
And I listened to it 3 times so I could get those 3, and it was 2 times too many.
Yeah.
But I got them.
I
So
think,
that was actually the first single released off the record.
Right, that's right,
Do
Jim.
you remember hearing it?
no,
No.
never heard it. Never
I
it.
heard it much later. I don't remember hearing it when
That
it
was the
came
first single.
out.
Yeah.
And same gripe I have with a lot of the album. Just where's the verse? Where's the chorus?
Yeah. They're not
Where's the
structured.
bridge? Can we get to the end?
Yeah, they're not structured, and they're not jam songs either.
I'll race you to the bridge.
Yeah.
Let's get-
No, I don't understand how you can have a 5
3
to 6 minute
minutes.
song and it's not jam. It's not a
Right.
Grateful
Talking
Dead
too
can do a
much.
20-minute song and be a jam, but there's a chorus in there and there's a verse, and I'm no fan of them. But this was just for playing for the sake of playing. The second song, Car Jamming, right off the bat, the drums have a phaser.
I caught that. And
terrible.
they saw
terrible
saw
sound.
Lauren Bacall. That's the lyric.
Yeah.
They saw Lauren Bacall in a car jam.
Yeah,
You know what a car
garbage.
jam is, folks, out in conspiracy land? Traffic.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought they were jamming in the car. Straight up. Till I heard it.
You got to be a Brit
Yep.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
from
pretty
the,
much.
from the UK, sir.
Yeah. Should I
Yes.
stay or should I go? Good. That's good because
Classic.
You know, it's not a great song, but it's in our heads. It's embedded back there.
That bass.
Rock the Casbah. Yeah, good. You know.
Now the video comes to mind every time I hear that song. That video.
Yeah.
When they're out by the oil rigs in their Cadillac in the chic outfits and the Anyway.
But you know who I preferred Elvis Costello over this every day.
Way
of the week.
more.
Yeah.
And Sex Pistols.
Yeah. Red Angel Dragnet. I put Reggae Crap. It just bothered me to no end.
Hang on, what did I put? Yeah, unhappy face, unsmiley face. But a bigger one.
Yep. Straight to hell. Ugh. Ugh is what I wrote. Yeah, I couldn't even write a whole word. Ugh. It just was. No thanks. Overpowered by funk. I put funk junk. It's just junk.
But I like that because I felt the funk. I felt it when that thing went down. I go, okay.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Funk. Okay. I will give him that. Yeah. Hard by funk.
Adam Tan.
Smiley face. Yep.
Instantly forgettable.
I got a smiley face by Adam Tan.
Yep.
Nope. Forgettable.
Sean Flynn. Filler. Nothing but a filler song.
Unhappy face.
Yep. Ghetto Defendant. Boring. Inoculated City. Nope. And Death is a Star.
Talking too much. Those are the two I put. Talking too much.
Yeah.
Ghetto Defendant, Inoculated City. Talking too much.
Yeah. Death is a Star. I put Squirrel, Please. You know, just get this thing over with.
I don't have a mark by.
I think it was. I think it was.
Star, so that might mean something. I couldn't take anymore. I'm sorry, folks.
No.
Oh.
I can't remember which one it was. I think it was Inoculated City. Had a very interesting bass line on it, but it was the only thing I really enjoyed about the song.
I couldn't get into it. I listened to it probably a total of 5 times since we decided we were going to review it, and the last 2 being today. And I've had a headache all day. Because I love music. And it's hard to put down somebody else's music and their art. It's not the right thing to do.
No,
but
more
it's
power
not
to 'em.
for me. This music, other Clash albums, like you said, Sansanista or
Sansanista, yeah. That's after-
London Calling.
yeah.
Yep.
They've had some other good albums, and this particular one was rough for me.
Well, I sometimes think, guys, I tried to do that today. Okay, let's go back to when it came out. What was it 81, 82?
Mm-hmm.
So what's going on in my life? You know, I'm a junior, senior in high school, and I didn't like it then.
No.
So here we are, 37 years later. Great production value, though.
It was mixed by...
It's very smooth, very smooth.
What I don't understand, it was mixed by Glenn Johns.
Glenn Johns.
Who worked with everybody.
Yeah.
And, I mean, from the Beatles to Zeppelin to the Stones to Blue Oyster Cult and Rod Stewart and the Faces and Joe Satriani and Midnight Oil and all these other bands.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what we got? Really?
He made Joe Strummer go back and do a lot of the vocals over again.
Yeah.
So what does that tell you what the first version sounded like?
Yeah. I don't know.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Joe, do these vocals over again. Okay.
And again, these are albums. This particular album, like I said, people said this was a soundtrack to their youth. So it makes you wonder how the heck they're living.
Write us, folks. JFJ show. Yeah.
So
Gmail. Write us. How did this? Why is this important to you?
So
I can't find it.
Let me say this about the Glenn Johns thing, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The band recorded the album.
They produced it.
Mm-hmm. And it was after the fact they brought Glenn Johns in, who edited it down from 77-minute double album down to a 46-minute single album.
Yeah. That's crazy, isn't it?
By trimming the length of songs. So
keep going,
so
Jim.
it's only a 4-minute song on the album. Who knows what it was, right? But at 77 minutes, it was, two-thirds longer roughly than what it was originally. And I can only imagine they took out like large instrumental sections, and I think. Thank goodness for Mr. Johns coming in and trimming the fat.
Yes.
Because,
can you imagine?
No, I can't.
Nor
don't
I.
want to.
Nor I.
Yeah.
So when I listen to the album, and it's been a long time since I've listened to this album. It's been seriously a long time. I probably haven't listened to it in 20 years.
Yeah.
So I'm listening to it and I'm thinking, what a bunch of self-indulgent garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Except for Rock the Casbah and Should I Stay or Should I Go?
Well,
And
those
so
songs had structure.
so the first thing I did was I wanted to look and see who produced this thing.
Right.
And I thought, oh, self-produced.
It's always.
Wow,
Red
this
flag.
makes a lot of sense now.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, people hold this album up as like some kind of brilliant thing. It was sold like 2 million copies.
Mm-hmm.
And so I decided to go back and look at how it was received back in the day. I wanted to see what some of the reviews were.
Yeah.
And basically they were called sellouts and self-indulgent and all the kind of things I thought.
Right.
And I listened to a lot of the album on YouTube, and so I went down and read the comments from people, and people just talked about how much they love this album, and especially some of the songs you guys just called out as the worst. People just talking about how
Great they were, yeah.
meaningful those songs were to them back in the day, and
That's all that matters.
how much they still love those songs today.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
And underneath one of the songs, oh gosh, I want to say it was
Too much talking.
Ghetto Defendant. I
Uh-huh.
think maybe there was one comment in there
That's
that
what I got
basically
next to
said,
that.
any real Clash fan hates this album and
Right.
understands it was their sellout album.
Wow.
And
Really?
now, when we talked about doing a Clash album, my vote was to do the Clash's debut album.
Right.
Somebody decided to go ahead with Combat Rock and throw that up.
That was
I
me.
won't mention his name.
I know.
Oh, he's going to hop to it.
And
Well, it's neither one of the J's in the JFJ conspiracy.
well, let me explain this.
Not going to tell you who.
Let me just explain myself why real quick, guys. Again, I have not heard the album probably in its entirety my whole life. I was more in the heavy metal in the 81, 82, so I was not listening to them extensively. But going off of two awesome songs that I knew of from MTV, I figured the whole album's got to rock,
Yes.
right?
Right. No, it's their biggest selling album in the U.S.
Yeah.
Yes.
Biggest and would be the most well known.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I doubt anybody who listened to Combat Rock and loved it would go back and listen to the Clash's debut and think like, oh, this is a genius piece of work.
Right.
They would go back and listen to it and go, what happened?
Yeah.
Makes me want to do
Boy,
it.
they've come a long way.
Mm-hmm. No, I take full credit for putting it on the poll.
No, it makes me
for the
me want to listen to the debut now, guys. Honestly, I want to
So-
go do it now.
Well, the other half of that overindulgent thing. So this is kind of where I got that whole maybe I'm just not smart enough for it. So every band needs to be able to kind of progress and move on. I mean, if they were still making the first record 5 records later,
Yeah, it's not good.
you'd say it's just stagnant, right? If nothing changed, and they changed, over the course of that time. This really was kind of a continuation of Sandinista. Sandinista had a lot of dub, a lot of reggae influence in it, and so they were just kind of moving along that line.
But if I remember
And
correctly,
there's a story.
Yeah, Sandinista came out after this, right?
no,
no, it was before.
Oh,
before.
okay.
But if I remember correctly, that album had songs on it. It wasn't just.
Oh yeah,
It
A,
had.
narrative.
and
Yeah.
a great cover of "Police on My Back"
Mhm.
by the Equals. Oh, the Clash did a great job of that song. Absolutely love it. Yeah, there's some good stuff on that album. Good stuff on everything all the way back.
Right. And again, in no way do I knock any person who likes this
No.
album, who likes the
You're getting
band,
out
who
there.
likes to listen to it. That's not my point. This just was not for me.
By the time this album came out, everybody called them the only band that matters.
Yeah.
They were the only band that mattered. They
wow.
went out and toured with the Who, and were a huge draw themselves. And I think
Wow.
personally, I think by
That's
this
right.
record they kind of lost their way.
Yeah. Apparently
And that
so.
whole thing with Mick Jones, like getting fired kind of after this tour or whatever.
And now I tell you what.
he was already on the outs because when they were recording this album, he wasn't happy with it. He didn't like the direction the band was going
No,
in.
he was already voicing his opinions about it as it was.
And then Mick Jones went on to form Big Audio Dynamite, which is righteous.
Yes, and
Big Audio Dynamite is
and
Big
a
Audio
little
Dynamite.
and, and a little bit of a continuation of combat rock almost.
Kind
It's got
of,
a lot of that.
yeah.
dub reggae sort
He
of
was more
influence.
free. You could tell he was more free.
Yeah, no, I like it. Big Audio Dynamite. So
Very good. Well, okay, so I think we all are in agreement that not their best album, and
yeah, don't think it's their best album.
No, I'm going to go debut tonight when we're done. I mean, you got me curious now, Jim. Thank you for that
Yeah.
little spark. No,
Okay,
'cause I
so
want to hear
there's-
the debut now.
There's two
Yeah.
versions. I understand you need to listen to the UK version, which came out like 2 years, I think, before it even came out here in the US.
Yeah.
But by the time it hit the US, they'd taken
Cleaned
some
it up.
singles and moved some other stuff on. It's not the same record. So,
Okay.
the one
That's
I went
easy.
back and listened to a couple of weeks ago was the US version, and I like it. I mean, it's very punk rock. It's very raw,
Yeah.
very political, but it's songs.
right.
You know, and a lot of stuff you'd recognize. You know, White Riot, Janie Jones. You know,
Janie Jones. Wow. Wow.
Okay, I think that's all that we have to say on the Clash this week.
Yeah, we'll discuss it later, folks.
Because we left this up to the listeners to decide. I told you I was not giving up my pick,
No.
and
Lay it on us, Frank.
not trying to move too far in a different direction. I want to get back to what a true, in my opinion, classic rock album was. And for that, I want you guys to go back and check out Deep Purple Machine Head.
Oh,
Ooh,
man.
Machine Head.
Okay.
Wow.
Now, if any listener says that's not classic rock, I want you to go check out another podcast to listen to because you don't belong.
Oh, Machine Head.
Yeah. So, in my
Machine
opinion, one
Head.
of the
That's
most-
an interesting choice.
yeah. Well,
Well, Frank just knew we had to recover from combat rock, Jim. So Frank just, let's.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now to see what's actually on this.
Oh.
Highway Star, yeah.
you know,
Smoke on the
lots of
Water,
good
Space
tunes on there.
Truckin'. Yeah.
and take out Smoke on the Water. Take that off, and there's
No,
lots
'cause
of
that's
good. Lots of good riff rock on that album, and just heavy stuff, and lots of Richie Blackmore doing his thing, and it's a good album.
Never met a guitarist who didn't like Richie Blackmore.
Yeah, that's for sure. Exactly.
They always,
It was
always
just other-
talk highly of him.
It was
Yep.
just other people that didn't like him.
Yeah, Richie's a strange guy. He's
Well, you got to be strange to rock like that. You got to have something off or on. Your guitar's your best friend, not
Yeah.
people.
He's
So
got,
honestly, and that's where the inspiration comes from, in my opinion.
well, last year before, where he decided to reform Rainbow, and had the opportunity to get a lot of the original members of Rainbow in there, Joe Lynn Turner included, and said,
Wow.
"No, I want all new musicians." So he reformed it, and I think it fizzled out as fast as it got together.
Well, of course.
There's even Graham Bonnet was like, "I'm available. Come on, I'll do this for you." I'd listen
Heck
to that. In a
yeah.
heartbeat. Graham Bonnet's a heck of a singer.
Heck of a singer,
Wow.
absolutely.
But I think he also does that Blackmore's Night, which is medieval mandolin music with his
Acoustic,
wife.
yeah.
And he's fallen off. I think he thinks he's Robin Hood or something now. So
Yeah.
I
Wearing
don't
the
know.
wizard hat and
Yeah.
carrying a sword and
Oh,
there's
yes.
staff. And,
Yeah, from days of yore. Yeah, he just took
Yeah.
that
True.
a little too serious. But check out Deep Purple Machine Head. We'll definitely be checking
All
that
right.
out in the next
Awesome.
episode.
Awesome.
All right. Well, if you guys don't have anything else for this week, we've discussed Record Store Day. We've discussed the classic Clash album. Had two great bands in Bryce Kalal. Sorry, let me know how to pronounce
Kalal.
that. And which kind of cassettes were they?
And cheap cassettes.
Cheap.
Cheap cassettes, man.
Rocking too.
They don't
Rocking.
sound cheap at all. There's good stuff.
No, that's good old fashioned rock and roll.
Check both those artists out, people. You will not be disappointed. There's some good headbanging stuff. Now, again, with your cheap cassettes, that they had a punkish sound to them also. They had a little bit of a vibe on there that was what I was kind of hoping for when I was going to listen to that Clash album. But, oh well. Anyways.
Chihuahua. Ouch.
Yeah. Well, if there's nothing else, fellas, guess what?
One more thing, Frank, if I may. Folks out in Conspiracy Land, jfjshow@gmail.com. Please get back to us on the Combat Rock. Why it was important to you, what it meant, or even make comments on YouTube.
Yep.
Just thank you. I'm curious.
Absolutely. We want to hear from
Honestly.
you.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
Good, bad, or ugly. And if you don't agree with Jim, that's okay. If you don't agree with Jerry, that's okay. If you don't agree with me, you're just wrong. But that's not the point.
Exactly.
You know.
And Jim and I already know
keep your
that,
opinions
folks.
to yourselves.
Jim and I already know that, folks. Don't worry. He's always been like that. Jim and I already know that.
And
all
you know,
good.
the beauty of it is I'm usually wrong 90% of the time anyways, and I know it, but I just can't let you guys know it. So
I
But
can't
Frank's
believe you.
Frank's always the first to say, look, it's just opinions. There's no
Right.
right or wrong
That's all it
answer.
is.
It's just opinions.
that's all
We've
we're
been at
doing
it for
here.
decades, folks. Yeah. It's all
Yep.
groovy.
All right, then. Well, what do you have to say about that?
Keep rocking, folks.
Shop is closed, brother.
The shop is closed. All right. Good night.
Night.